Hi, everybody. I am so excited and curious about our topic today, right? Tantra, understanding Tantra with Guruji. A lot of the words, right, like they come to the West and we take them for their partial meaning. And I'm not sure even if that is what we've done with Tantra here. But I'm certain that we're not sure about what Tantra is. And Namaste Krishna ji, Janmashtami Mubarak to you. Hi, Bhavs. Uh, yeah, so I am certain that we are not. Hi, Nidu. Hi, Devi. Where's Prada? Hi, Deepika. Hi, Saravanan. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I just, like I said, right, I'm just curious to see what it really is. And what I heard, right, from Guruji and his team was that it's a very good place to start to understand before we go even exploring rituals, because that's what I want to explore. We have been talking so much about this whole concept, which I really resonate with, that we come from the cosmos, the whole non duality, and how we are here to find ourselves back through those 18 layers or 18 steps that take us back, those 18 things. You know, we've gotten the merging of all the five elements and become this being with the mind and the body and the ego, the ahankar, and we need to undo ourselves from that. So that is, to me, that has been the most appealing thing in everything that I've ever studied, is to find our way back. And now we are going to talk more about Tantra and things that we've more in the last, I would say, 500 years really resorted to as a culture, you know, more rituals, more practices, and what is their role really. And you know, whatever we plan to talk, the great part is Guruji takes us in the direction that we really need to be taken to, right? So that's what it happens. And I know Guruji is here, so let's do this. And we are just kind of connecting. So once Guruji, Pranam Guruji.
Namaste. How are you?
Namaste, Pranam. I'm good, Guruji. How are you?
Yeah, doing very well. Thank you.
I've been exploring the non-duality, and every day it's different. On certain days, I feel so bound and confined to the sansar and all its things, and then there's certain days where I can put myself away and laugh and find that concept of Krishna in the world. But it's every day. Happy Janmashtami to you, Guruji.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And my blessings to all. Yes,
How are you, Guruji?
everything is fantastic.
Yeah, that's lovely, Guruji. So, we've been exploring the breath as well, Guruji. So, if we have
Ah,
some time in the end of this, maybe we can, take questions on anybody who has breath questions, but to keep the order so that when people come to listen to this later, we can directly start talking about our topic for today, which is Tantra. And it's become so famous here in the West. The word Tantra, right, Guruji? The meaning could be completely different, but it is the new thing in the West, and it has all kinds of meanings here. But we want to understand from you because you're the source for us of everything. Yeah.
okay. Good. Actually, it is a vast subject,
Yes.
and that is the subject we have to understand in its essence. Can you hear me well? But I feel little disturbance in your audio.
Oh, really? I can hear you
I
so
feel that.
crystal clear. Is anybody who's listening, can you all tell us in the comments whether the sound is weak? Uh, whether like something's going on with the sound? So, Guruji, is it the noise of the air conditioning? It's fine, Guruji. Can you still,
Ah,
is it the air conditioning
air,
noise?
air condition is okay. That noise is okay, but sound is breaking.
Oh, it says super clear. So Guruji,
Uh-huh.
maybe your connection is a little weak, so you can't hear me because everybody else says it's super clear.
Oh, then my connection may be weak today.
But we can hear you clearly, Guruji. We can hear you super
Okay.
clearly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yes, I was little reluctant to take this subject because I know this is the only way to understand the reality. And this is the only way to liberate ourselves as well. But that is the one which is the most misinterpreted, wrongly, like published and even practiced.
Yes.
So let us come to the essence of that, the meaning.
Yeah. That's why we need you, Guruji, because otherwise, can you imagine how many people would be misled?
Yeah. So the word tantra means it is a strategy. Tantra in Sanskrit, strategy, technique. And it has a connection. How Tantra is used? Tantra is used by a mind, mantra. So mantra will lead to Tantra. Then Tantra is incorporated with Yandra. You might have seen in occult practices.
I'm going to have to write something down. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So mantra is the mind. Mind is producing the strategy, Tantra. Then Tantra is incorporated or executed through Yandra. Yandra means equipment or machine.
Tool. Yeah. Like a tool.
Tool. Yes. So that is the meaning.
Mind, strategy, tool.
Mind is mantra.
Yeah.
Technical mind is mantra.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That educated mind will make a strategy. That is Tantra.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to construct a house,
Hmm.
that design, that engineering mind is mantra.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then you will make a design for
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
That is Tantra.
Mm-hmm.
Then you will bring the materials to construct it and materialize it. That is Yantra.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So in your occult practices, you can see there's a. The sound is okay?
Yeah. Yeah. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. So the Tantra is used for activating a Yantra. Means there will be certain paintings. You might have seen some strategic paintings or mysterious colors used in occult practices.
Mm-hmm.
These are the hidden centers, the marmas of mind,
Mm-hmm.
through which you can explore your inner potential and drive your conscious mind to the universal consciousness. Or your limited ego, expand your limited ego to a cosmic ego.
Mm-hmm.
There, from aham, I can develop myself into Brahmasmi. Aham, Brahmasmi.
Brahmasmi.
I am the universe. I can explore myself and experience myself. So it is a journey from limited, the micro, to the macro. So if you want to explore the space, outer space, first you must have a tantra. You must have a proper strategy. Then you have to make a rocket as a yantra. So the tantra and the yantra work together to help you to achieve the goal, experience the outer space. Same way, these tantras are used, but again, how it is used, that is the question.
Okay, great, Guruji. I'm going to summarize this because I know it's a new topic for a lot of people and a confused topic, right? So, going back to the previous conversations we had, that the goal is Aham Brahmasmi, is to experience the unity between ourselves and the universe. And so that is anyways the goal. And when it comes to Tantra and the concept of it, it is that your mind, which is the mantra, is now that is the mind which wants to experience this. So it comes up
Yes.
with a strategy, and that strategy is Tantra. And to explore that strategy, certain tools are required.
Yeah.
And those tools are yantra. So,
Yes.
in a way, this mantra, tantra, and yantra is again a way to experience Aham Brahmasmi, which is also
Yes.
what we have talked about in everything that we have done so far. But this is one path which requires tools. However, this path today is often misunderstood, misrepresented, and misused. So we want
Yeah.
to understand that how can we use this mind of ours to create a strategy with the right tools to experience Aham Brahmasmi, which is oneness with the universe.
Yes. So we know we are limited, and if I say technically, we are searching for the truth. Everybody is searching for the truth. That means this life is a lie. It's a big lie. Our existing world, this manifested world, as far as yogic philosophy is concerned, it's Maya, means it's a big lie. That is why in our inner self, we know that we are all living in this lie. So we should find the truth. The truth is the reality of this existence. So Tantra will take you to reach or help you to reach the truth through the help of yantra. This is what we should understand. Got it?
100%. Yeah.
Okay. So
For any
we
strategy,
have,
we require tools. Any strategy in the world requires tools to execute the strategy.
yes.
And in this
So
case, it's yantra.
yes, yantra is used to unravel the lie. A life is a lie. That we are going to remove. So our ignorance is going to be removed. For that we are using that tool. In India, once each and every problem was solved through, rectified through the mantravada, the occult practices. Can you believe that?
So the mantra practices were used to shift the energy in the universe to create that, to recreate that what is required to solve every problem, whether physical, mental, political, emotional, anything.
Of course, that is what quantum physics is saying this.
Yes, yes,
Now,
I believe it completely, Guruji. I live by. I mean, I really want to live by that. I try.
yes.
Yeah.
So there, actually, when a person was having either a problem of physical, mental, or spiritual issue, this person was taken to a master who was well versed in the spiritual practice, who could use his mind as an energy to influence the other person. Most probably, that master would have been a understood or experienced yogi. The man who could transform his mind into energy. That energy can be used as a tool to get something done. So the Tantra and Yantra were used for getting things done. So if a person is taken to him, suppose he has a mental problem, maybe little bit, now we say bipolar, many things are some mental disease. So taken to him, you can see there will be a column. Column means a mysterious drawing will be used, which was filled with different colors. Actually, that was color therapy. Now we know the alternative medicines are using many things.
Yeah.
A certain color can create some hormones in our body.
Yeah.
Different colors can produce different hormones in our system.
Absolutely.
So these colors were used for stimulating certain hormones in the body.
Right.
Then they used to give something to smell, aromatherapy. Either rose flower or jasmine or different sandal, different things used.
Yeah.
So yeah, then color therapy, aromatherapy combined. Then
Right.
they use them music,
Yeah.
drums or some string instrument. that is
Sound.
music therapy.
Yeah.
Then they will make this person to taste something, that is taste therapy. It is called Rasana Chikitsa. Rasana means
Yeah.
taste.
Yeah.
Then they use some materials, either a leaf or a bunch of flower, to touch on their body in different parts with different rhythms. That is what is called touch therapy. Sparsha Chikitsa. So when these 5 elements, our 5 organs, eyes, nose, ears, tongue, skin, these 5 are combined together or harmonized, this person will be influenced with the ambience and the presence of the master. This person will lose his identity. When that particular moment comes, master will infuse that message on him that you are perfectly all right. When that perfectly all right sentence is captured in his deep mind, actually he is all right. This was the technique which they were used in India. Ultra modern science is saying this, that is quantum healing. Earlier it was common in India.
That makes complete sense, Guruji. So the disharmony of the senses, with the way we engage in the world, really takes us far away, right? Because when you said that when the Panch Mahabhut come together, the 5 elements, and the Jnanendriyas start acting up, and you kind of develop all of this, those are the 18 steps that we've gone away from, 18 steps away. And when we use back and we go back to that deep experience through our senses in harmony, all 5 senses come in a place where they have specific colors and sounds which take us to the deepest connection with ourselves. And when we're able to tap into that point and that moment when we found ourselves again, and we've understood that even for a brief moment, the concept of Aham Brahmasmi, at that point, we are dissolved. And that's when
Yes.
the master, when we feel completely dissolution, the master uses that moment for an auto-suggestion,
Yes.
for a reality planted into our head.
Yes.
And then when we come back and engage, we already know more than we knew before the experience.
Perfect. Actually, this is what is happening in yoga. A person who is meditating and getting his chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga, chitta vritti nirodha. 5 organs will be consciously blocked. When the 5 organs are blocked, the 6th sense will be activated. That is what is happening in the yogi by practice. But the rogi, the diseased, needs a help. So artificially, that 5 elements will be influenced, make that person to enter in that 6th level of consciousness. Immediately, the moment that person is transcending himself to that 6th level of organ consciousness, or we can say like a 6th sense is activated. There, the message is infused, which is technically called prana pratishta. Prana means life energy. That life energy is converted into a command. That command will be given to that person, as you said, helping him to get that auto-suggestion. As if a person is struggling in the darkness, he has a candle, but it is not lighted. So you have the candle lighted. So take him close to you. Just give your light, enlightenment. Give your light to him, and his candle is, lighted. Then he is saved by himself. It's only an external help to make him understand how to explore the inner potential. This is what was used as a treatment tool in ancient India.
So, but Guruji, I know that in the end they are the same path, but they're also very different, right? Because one is Chitta Vritti Nirodha, it's complete disengagement from the senses to dive deeper, right? And one is engagement of the senses in a certain way, in a certain planned way,
Yes.
to reach that subconsciousness or to reach that deeper mind, to experience that. So, there's a lot of confusion in my, to me, Guruji, personally, right? I'll be honest with you. To me personally, the Chitta Vritti Nirodha, on a
Right.
daily basis, is very appealing, right?
Good.
And this path, right, the Tantra path, is, the way I look at it is that, when I'm living my normal life, right, how, when I'm cooking, when I'm being with the kids, when I'm and that moment, how do I use my senses in a way that it's tantra, it's a strategy, that I use it to experience a deeper truth in each moment that I'm experiencing the world. Does that make sense, Guruji?
Yeah, but again, you are talking about engagement, yoga. See the work, if you read a book, your mind should be closely associated. It should be, in contact without any distraction.
Surrender,
That
like
means
surrender.
surrender. You should have a proper, adequate concentration. Your mind will be completely dissolved into the subject which is written in the book. That means you will get a perfect understanding. But if you have a distracted mind, you keep on reading the book, that message will not be taken to your inner mind. So when you cook, if you have good concentration, definitely you will make a wonderful dish. But if you are scattered in the thought, you will make mistakes. That means that effort cannot be giving you the correct fruit. So each and every moment in our life, even in our interaction now, if I have a good attention with you, if you have a proper union between your mind and mine, then I will understand you better. But if I am not getting that connection, that tantra is not used, the technique is not applied, then I will not understand you properly. So everywhere, each and every moment, this tantra is being applied in our life. Okay. Now again, I know everybody's subconscious mind is not happy with this explanation. Even the listeners, they are a bit anxious to know what they are already informed. I will come to you. I can feel it. I can tell you exactly why that little anxiety is there. We are all informed that Tantra Yoga is connected with the tantric sex. We are aware of this. In any temple you go, or serious temples in India, you can see this pornographic sculptures. The most famous temple in South India is Shuchi Indra. See the word meaning. Shuchi Indram. Indra means Indriyana Manonada. Manonadastu Maruda. Marudasya Leyo Nada. Sa Leyo Nada Mashrida. Swarmarama Maharshi declared in his Hatha Yoga Pradipika, the authentic book on Hatha Yoga. He is saying this. Your organs are being controlled by mind. Indriyana Mano Nada. Then mind is controlled by prana. Mano Nadastu Maruda. Then Marudasya Leyo Nada. The prana is controlled by Nada Brahma, the cosmic sound. Then Sa Leyo Nada Mashrida, the reality is only the sound. Each and every molecule will be dissolving back into the cosmic sound. So how we can experience that cosmic sound? We should disengage our thoughts from our material sensory engagements. That is what we call Shuchi Indra. Shuchi in Sanskrit, clean.
Clean, purity.
Disengage.
Yeah.
Yes, remove. Indra means senses. So clean your senses. Clean your 5 senses. Then your 6th sense will be naturally activated. That is the meaning of Shuchi Indram temple. There you can see this. The good foods, you can see pictures and sculptures. You can see some different kind of sceneries. You can smell many things. You can taste prasada, tirtha. Then what is the organ for touch? The organ for the touch is sex. Here you can see the sculptures, different methods you can see, which is conveying the message that you have to clean your 5 senses. When you clean your 5 senses only, you are supposed to enter in the second level. Second level means when we meditate, we have first to clean the organs, indriyas, then the Tantra level, our mind will go. There you can see cosmic beings.
Mm-hmm.
Many people, even I also thought that these things are simply exaggerated stories. No. If you have a microscopic eye, you can see many things which are not available for ordinary people. If you can you can change the temper of your eardrum by practice. You can hear many sounds which are silent for other people. You can increase your smelling capability. You can recognize different tastes if you know how to deal with your taste buds. So 5 organs, their capacity can be enhanced or decreased through practice. So when we go beyond the Indriyas, organs, we can see cosmic energy beings, which are called Devadas. Devada means the deities. So through the Devada, you can go further, then you can go to the ultimate reality, which is shapeless, unmodified, which is beyond our senses. Then how sex is connected with this? When a man gets his ejaculation, few seconds, he is getting this highly developed yogic experience. His 5 senses will be blocked. So orgasm either in a woman or in a man, that will arrest the functions of 5 senses for few seconds. That is the ecstatic feeling of a yogi who is meditating. So yogic experience is through practice. The bhogi means sexual intercourse. Through that sexual intercourse, it is happening by nature. The yogi's experience is sustainable. The yogi's experience is momentary. So here masters are declaring this. The 6th sense activation is possible through this sexual intercourse. That is the ecstatic feeling of each and every species. That is the technique of Mother Nature. If that enjoyment is not infused in that activity, who will go for this reproduction? Just now even a bird is enjoying that. That is why it is tend to reproduce. Otherwise, reproduction is not possible. So Mother Nature kept this ecstatic feeling with this action. This similarity is exposed in the tantric texts and tantric sculptures or tantric teachings. When a woman touches a man or man touches a woman, the level of oxytocin will be high. When it goes to beyond certain limit, muscle will naturally be contracted. When the muscles are contracted beyond certain limit, other hormones will be activated. Like this is what is modern science is saying. Minimum 30 different types of hormones are pumped in the blood during the time of orgasm. This is what is clearly said in yoga. Rajaso, Redaso Yoga, Raja Yoga Vidismrita. Meaning is, Rajas means activity, or the power of Agni. Redas means sexual fluid. When the pranic movement is focused to create more heat in the body, that will enhance the ejaculation of the sexual fluid. That is what is the Redas. When this Rajas and Redas merge each other into an action, that is what is called Raja Yoga Vidismrita, the highest yoga. So when the Raja Yoga happens during the time of a natural process, that is what is called Bhoga, momentary happiness. When it is done through Urdhureda means the sexual fluid can be drawn upward in practice. That is called Urdhureda. That is very, very sustainable and 100 times more powerful than the ordinary heat. So this is connected with some sort of, this sexual activity is connected with. But people taught in different ways, gave different explanations, and they lost the essence.
Mm-hmm.
They went into the peripheral practices or peripheral explanations.
So I
Yes.
have a question, Guruji, right?
Yes.
So what's making sense to me completely is that this experience that a human being can have, right, is
Yeah.
is representative. Mother Nature planned it that look, this is actually a moment of creation, and this
Yes.
kind of actually takes us to the moment of our creation where we are one with the universe, where
Yes.
we experience Aham Brahmasmi, and that's when
Yes.
that's the point of creation. And actually, when as human beings we indulge in that, you experience that moment for a moment,
Yes.
and that is in a way to show us that what we are capable of, our body is, right?
Yes. Of
And
course.
when we go through the route of yoga, and you know what I'm thinking, right? When the muscles tense up, the same thing with mudras and bandhas, right? We
Yes.
can, it's in a way, it's kind of redirecting the flow of the fluids in our body
Yes.
upwards. Whether, I mean, now they're calling it cerebral spinal fluid, but you're redirecting the flow in a way
Oh,
that
good.
it's elevating you. The prana is elevating you, and you can experience that through yoga. Now, my
Yes.
question is, so you know, also in a way, right? People take psychedelic drugs as a yantra to people take psychedelic drugs, and I don't know
Yes.
if it's a legitimate yantra, but people use it to have the same experience. So I know people use intercourse to have that experience. Now, what my question to you is, when the Shastras were written, Guruji,
Mm.
was that a prescribed yantra, or was that just so that human beings understand that this is the nature of bliss which you can experience through your sadhana?
Repeat, once again, that sound was breaking. Please repeat the question.
Sure, Guruji. My question is that in the Shastra, right, Guruji, according, was this concept of Raja Yoga mentioned so that it can be used as a yantra, so that it can be used as a yantra, as a tantra yantra, or was it mentioned to show to us what union we are capable of with the universe? Was it mentioned just so that we understand, hey, Aham Brahmasmi feels like this. Now go to your own path and do your sadhana and experience this feeling and use it for your unity with the universe. So is it to be used, or is it just to know?
Again, see, knowledge is forming thoughts. Thoughts will give you action. The life is for enjoyment and experience. If you are restricted yourself with the only enjoyment, it's an animal's life. Animals are just going through sensory pleasures, nothing else. But human brain is not happy only with that. He wants to go beyond. He wants to question his senses. So why I am here as a slave, enslaved with my senses? He wants to question. So first, our knowledge to understand properly, then make use of that. When thoughts will be produced, that thoughts will be taken into action. Icha. Icha means the desire. Kriya. Kriya means action. So you have a desire and you have to fulfill the desire through action. Icha Shakti and Kriya Shakti. But again, from where the Icha comes, that is the question. If an animal Icha or desire is coming to eat, he tries to eat something and he wants to sleep. He grows, then he wants to reproduce, then he will take care of the children and then he will die. But human brain is asking, why? Why am I doing all these things? Who makes me do this? There we go for Tantra. Up to that moment, we are only an animal, a social animal. When Tantra comes, we are questioning the nature. But you can get something done through an ordinary Tantra, ordinary strategy. in the material world or in the human level. But if you want to question the nature, you need high level equipments. That is what is introduced to us with the Shiva mantra, Vishnu mantra, Hagriva mantra, many mantras are there. Based on that mantra, yantras are there. See, in our tradition, you can see millions of gods, and each god is holding a tool, a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean?
Yantra, yeah.
That god is created by whom? Our experienced sages. They recognized something. The seer. Seer means, the Rishi means the seer of mantra. Mantra is the cosmic technique.
Mm-hmm.
Tools you can use for your higher achievements.
Mm-hmm.
So the masters personified these ideas and they gave certain tools.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
in, now I will come back to this subject again.
Mm.
Have you heard about the god Kartikeya in India?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Murugan,
Mhm.
Shiva's son.
Mm-hmm. Kartikeya.
So he has another name called Shanmukha. Shat means 6. Mukha
Yeah.
means 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shanmukha.
Yeah.
Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Malsarya. These are the Shat Vairi. Vairi means the enemies
6 vices.
against 6 senses, 6
Yeah.
energies which are blocking from spiritual exploration.
Can we do them in English, Guruji? 1 second, all of them. Can we say all the 6
Kama,
kama?
desire.
Yeah.
Krodha,
Mhm.
anger.
Mm-hmm.
Lobha, miserliness.
Yeah. Greed.
Kama, Krodha, Lobha. Moha, pride.
Mm-hmm.
Mada, competition. Sorry. Mada means, ego.
Mm-hmm.
And Malsarya is competition.
Mm.
So we compare with others and we want to compete.
Mm-hmm.
When the comparison comes, there will be a competition
Mm-hmm.
to go high.
Mm-hmm.
These are the 6 obstacles in spiritual development.
Mm-hmm.
And we are all enslaved with this 6. So we are all Shanmukhas.
Mm-hmm.
But he is the son of the cosmic energy Parashiva, the
Right.
ultimate reality.
Right.
So he is holding a weapon called a veil. Have you seen that?
No.
It is having a shape of a petal of this lotus, or
Okay.
it's like a an almond.
Yeah. 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 So it's like a triangular shape, almost like a triangle, but like a petal. It's like a petal.
It's like yeah,
Tilak,
something
like a
that,
tilak, like a tilak.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
a tilak.
Like a drop,
And
like a drop shape.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So that is what is called his tool,
Uh-huh.
and that tool is a very powerful technique in Tantra Yoga, which can be used to overcome these 6 emotions in our system.
Yeah. And how? Yeah.
Yes. Have you heard about them? And I will give you little modern, physiology also.
Yes, I'd love that.
There is a gland which is closely associated with the orgasm, amygdala or something like that.
Yes. Yes. You're talking about the pineal gland is the same shape. The pineal gland is the same exact shape.
Pineal gland, specifically, I can say like amygdala. It's
Yeah.
like a almond. Something is like an
Yeah.
almond.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
coming from that.
I actually have it. Yeah. I have a showpiece like that. Oh yes,
Yes.
I have it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when we meditate, when we bring our concentration on that level, through different, of course, it will take years of practice. We can really see this.
Mm-hmm.
We can come to know how that hormone is working in our body. So that time we will come to know. As I told you, earlier I thought these are all exaggerated stories. But when I went through all my different levels of consciousness, I could identify myself with all these personified energies.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
So I could see the veil in my body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then one day I could see the Trishul, the weapon of Lord Shiva in my body.
Mm-hmm.
I could see the weapon of Lord Ganesha, the axe and the rope,
Mm-hmm.
angusha, and
Mm-hmm.
pasha.
Wow.
It's there. So all these things are only, like minute energy sources which are symbolized in the form of gods. And all these gods are initiating us to fight. As I told you, life is a big lie. Fight against it. Keep on fighting, constant fight. Then, as we advance in our development, we have to use different tools
Got it.
in our different levels. As I told you last time, when we climb the Mount Everest, initially we have to use only two sticks. When we reach to certain level, we have to use some ropes, then axe, then hooks. Different things, tools are necessary for achieving the goal. Same way, these tools are called yantras. Yantras are being developed from Tantra.
Now I completely, yeah. Now I get it.
Yeah. So we can conquer any problem or any ignorance, our pain or our confusion, our quest is coming from ignorance. If you don't know something, you'll say, hey, what is that? I have to search. That search comes from ignorance. Obliterate that ignorance, then you will become the reality. This is what we have to achieve.
Okay.
So
Makes
Tantra Yoga is real Kundalini Yoga. Advanced Kundalini Yoga is called Tantra Yoga. Nothing else.
So basically, Guruji, what we are saying here is that because we are all in different stages on this Mount Everest, we are finding our way back home, and we start asking this question. And when we make that tantra, that strategy, part of it may be to experience it and understand it through our senses, but that's only a temporary yantra. When you use the example of Kartikeya, what thought that came to my mind is at the end you realize that the yantras are all within us
Yes.
eventually. That is,
Yes.
so everything else, right? Using your indriyas, using external yantras is all a station, not a destination. It's all as you go in your journey. And
Yes.
one day you realize that all the, like you experienced, Guruji, like you experienced yourself, the yantras are all within us. And that's why
Yes.
Kartikeya's yantra is that
Yes.
uh, lotus shaped, that gland shaped yantra.
Yes.
Because,
Yes.
but as human beings, right, because we come into the sansar to experience through our senses,
Yes.
it is important that when the nature has planned it, that we learn that you can experience deeper bliss using your senses is a hint, is a clue to where you came from.
Yes.
And you
That's correct.
experience that clue, and
Yes.
you're like, oh, now I know. It's like a little clue in a treasure hunt, and oh, I can go deeper now. I have to go this way, and you get another
Yes.
clue, and then you go deeper, and
Yes.
eventually you don't need clues. Everything is within you.
Yes. Correct. So
And
when you
here,
recognize, yes. Yes.
now I just wanted to say
When
that
you
here in the West, Guruji, people get obsessed with the first part of it, right?
yes,
Sometimes.
because it is a great challenge for the seeker. Organs are very strong. See, in Ramayana, who was the support for Lord Rama?
Lakshmi,
Vanara,
Sita.
monkeys.
Vanara. Yes, Hanuman.
And all these monkeys were so powerful.
Now I see what you're saying.
These are our thoughts.
Yeah.
So, Ravan is our, 10 senses. So, our soul, our inner self knows everything. That is the Aham. But Rama is in a constant fight with Ravana. Ravana means fight, 10 senses are saying that Sita, the mother nature is mine. But Rama says, hello, Sita, the mother nature is one with me. The soul and mother nature are one. And they are complementing each other. But in between the Maya, the 5, 10 senses are saying that this is mine. We are obsessed with that. Organ will bring the strong thought that I need this. This is me, this is mine, and all these things are mine, and I will capture everything. This is only an illusion, but very strong. But Rama will use these thoughts to bring down these organs, significance. So, have you ever seen somebody who is having 10 heads in the world? A man with the 10 heads? 5 jnanendriyas and 5 karmendriyas are producing that obstacle. But it will try to capture Mother Nature, sensory enjoyments, forcefully. But nature is available for everybody, like Rama. When Rama comes to know that, or our soul develops and suppress the 10 senses, Indriya Nigraha, Yoga, Chitta Vritti, Nirodha. When we bring down 5 organs, Rama will be succeeded. So we will become Ram. Again, Rama Mantra, Ram. When we say Ra, throat will go inside. Naturally, that is, the Jalandhara Bandhana is happening. Om.
Om is Jalandhara Bandhana, yes, for sure.
Yes. So it's like Om. Om starts with A, ends with M. Same way, Ram, that's what's happening. That will lead to Jalandhara Bandhana. Jalandhara will lead to Mula Bandhana. Mula Bandhana, Jalandhara Bandhana together will enhance Uddiyana Bandhana. When 3 bandhas takes place, you will experience Mahabandhana. When Mahabandhana happens, Mahaganapati will expose. So, very simple.
It is amazing how you unite all the concepts, Guruji.
I am not uniting. This is the reality. I just found it.
How you explain it to us. How you explain it to us. So brilliant. Yeah. So, Guruji, at the end, even through the Tantra, even through the Indriyas, you experience momentary Chitta Vritta Nirodha. That was like the most brilliant takeaway, that your muscles contract just as they would. And all your bandhas, your Mahabandha, and you experience that for a moment. And then you want to go deeper in another journey. And multiple in every way. It's all telling you the same thing. Every place is telling you the same thing. That it's that Chitta Vritti Nirodha that you have to experience. It's that elevation of that prana pratishtha that you need to come to. It's like everywhere you go, you see the same hint. Everywhere you go, it's written everywhere.
Yes.
The signs are everywhere.
The signs are everywhere. Signs are only signs. The journey should be carried out by everybody. And the destination should be achieved. We have to reach ourselves there. That effort has to be taken by ourselves. These things are only signs, road signs. That's all. But if we are mistaken with the signs and the destination, we are lost. Many are being trapped into that. They come to know, they read something, or they get sensory information about some of these signs, and they feel that, yes, that is my destination. And there the problem starts. Because they have not reached to the destination, still they think that, or they feel that I have reached there. That is what is called Maya. Maya is mysterious. That is why everywhere this godly things comes, it is all mysterious. That mystery can be taken out, removed by more scientific practice. Through practice only we will experience. When we experience, we will come to know all these gods are man-made.
Yes.
Because
yes, like you said.
Take a you can clearly see. Suppose I am practicing Sri Vidya Mantra. Om Asya Shri Vidya Tripura Sundari Stotra Mahamandrasya Bhagavan Ananda Bhairava Rishi Gayatri Chandaha Sri Vidya Tripura Sundari Devana Sambijam Hrain Shakti. Like that mantra is starting. What does it mean? The Bhagavan Ananda Bhairava Rishi, the scientist who discovered this mantra, is Ananda Bhairava. So it's a man. It's a human being like you and me. Then He introduced Sri Vidya Triparasundari, that an energy being. If somebody calls you Nidhi, you will say, yes, I am. That means behind the word Nidhi, a personality is there. That is why you are responding. If somebody knows, how to, recite or how to call Nidhi, you will respond. If that person is not calling with the sufficient sound, you may not hear it, then you cannot respond. Same way, when we practice the mantra, Sri Vidya mantra, with the guidance of Guru, Ananda Bhairava Rishi clearly said, this is the mantra, the mysterious sound, can be practiced in this and this way. When you reach to certain level of, concentration, or when you achieve certain power in that concentration, the Devada, the energy source behind the mantra, will respond to you. Or the hidden center in our body will be exposed. That is what is called revelation. So the man, human being called Rishi, he discovered this technique and symbolized it and given to everybody. It is our job to practice. That means Sri Vidya Triparasundari Devada means that Devi is created by whom? Ananda Bhairava, the man, Ananda Bhairava. So when we reach to that Rishi's level, even Rishi will vanish, mantra will vanish, even the Ananda Bhairavi will vanish, then what will remain, which is
Aham Brahmas.
beyond all,
Aham Brahmas.
which is beyond our explanation. That is our target.
Okay, now this makes so much sense. We come into the world with these five senses,
Yes.
and at each point, the five senses, when you use them in harmony, you experience Aham Brahmasmi. Then you go deeper, and then you say, hey, I want to follow this path. And then there, we encounter gods that are personified, and then and mantras and chants and yagnas and everything. And as you do everything, they all again make you have that same experience. You're calling upon something within you, which is much deeper.
Yes.
And eventually, as you go ahead, so you started with your senses, then you went to all of these other yantras, and then you keep going ahead and ahead, and then you experience that point where you don't even need all of this external tools, and
Yes.
you just understand it's possible through within you because you've gone through that whole journey.
Yes. So this is what we should understand. Mantra can be chanted in 3 levels.
Uh-huh.
Still they are chanting. Mantras are the tools which will take you to Mauna. Mauna means silence. So
Okay.
Muni means a person who can listen his silence.
Mm-hmm.
Is called a Muni. So mantra, first it should be chanted loudly. It's called Vachyam.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Adhama, Japa. Adhama means it's loud Japa
Mm-hmm.
to get more concentration. Then it is called Madhyama, Upamsha. Means you have to just move your lips only. You can hear, but none else will listening. So that is the Madhyama. Uttama is silent, Mauna. So you have to repeat in your mind. Then the fourth one, the mantra will dissolve. There you will become one with the cosmic sound. So, but many people are chanting mantra loudly. They think, oh yeah, I should get attention from others. Or the chanting, the rhythm is correct or not. They're thinking that the rhythm is correct or not. Then how they can advance in meditation?
Guruji, how many things you've clarified in one session? I cannot even imagine how many answers you've answered. So many questions, Guruji. So in a way, even mantra is a yantra. In a way, mantra ucharan is a yantra in a way, right? It's a tool.
Yes,
It's
yes,
a tool.
of course.
Yeah. Okay. So Guruji, this one question that came up, and I want to ask you. Somebody is asking, and I think suppression is a very broad word, but is suppression a yantra? I know chitta vritti nirodha is indicated, but I think suppressing natural desires, I think, is what the person meant. How does that work? And I know you said for purushartha, you said your inner intelligence will tell you how much karma is enough, how much dharma, how much dharma you engage in. But should people actively suppress their desires?
Okay, suppression and understanding is entirely different. Suppression means really like in Tantra Yoga, we can say everybody will insist that, oh, you should have brahmacharya. You should have celibacy. Actually it's a suppression. But we should understand this. We have sapta dhadus. Rasa, Rekta, Majja, Mamsa, Asti, Medas, Shukla. In English, rasa means the salivary, juices and digestive juices mixed up with our food. That is the rasa. From that, Rekta, blood is made. Then bone marrow. Then flesh. Asti, bone. Essential fat. Then rasa, Rekta,
Reproductive,
Majja,
Shukra.
Medas. Then Shukla is sexual fluid. So once the sexual fluid is produced, it is called adoredas. Then it should be expelled from the body. Otherwise, it will be polluted. So people think that, okay, I have to go for mantra yoga and tantra yoga. I should produce the yantra in the body. That means I should suppress my sexual desire. It is a suppression because the control is coming from ignorance. But a real yogi will not suppress that. That if it is necessary for his higher practice, then he will transform that, or she will transform. Master will guide him. So once the Sapta Dhatu is produced, it has to move down. Adhoredas means a downward movement. That will be blocked by holding the apana. Apana means the lower prana. The upper prana is called prana. Lower prana is called aprana or apana. They are like two opposites. Prana is always moving up, apana is moving down. So it's like opposite force, like two pistons. Mm-hmm. So apana is holding the, like a stool and urine, everything. When it is not flowing as it is held properly. If I feel that I should go to toilet for urination, then my mind will say, hey, this is not the time. So prana will hold it and aprana will hold it. Then I find a comfortable place, my senses will give a message to the brain that now everything is okay. Then only the aprana will release the urine to flow. Some ladies, after delivery, they lose that capacity of holding the urine and it will pass naturally. Then it's a disease. What I'm saying is, when this sexual fluid is produced, that is the Sapta Dhatu, either it should be taken away naturally or it should be transformed. In Siddha Vaidya, there are many bhasmas, means powder. Tanka bhasma, Tamra bhasma. Mm-hmm. These are all methods. Mm-hmm. But how it is does medicine? Heat is the player. With a certain temperature, it will be processed.
Transformed. Yep.
Transformed. So the metal form will be transforming, and before it reaches to the ash,
yes,
the gap between the metal and the ash is medicine. Right. The body can consume it. Right. It can assimilate it.
Right.
So if you take pure gold and heat it, and before it you remove it. If you fail in that, it will remain as metal molecule, which will damage your kidney. But if it is as the medicine, that will become medicine and it will work like a food. You can see the experience. The same way, the yogic heat, when we meditate, we will produce the yogic heat. With that yogic heat, this Sapta Dhatu can be heated, processed, and converted into ojas. The extraordinary power. That is what is called Ashtadharu. If the ojas is made, it will start moving up. That is what is called Urdhvaredas. So suppression is not solving the issue. Getting the knowledge about it, then get into Tantra and Yantra, process it, convert your Saptadhatu into Ashtadhatu. Then your journey is on without any obstacle. That is what is called the difference between suppression and exploration.
That is a brilliant explanation, Guruji. We have 30 seconds left and it's going to get disconnected. But you brought me to the awareness of Vegadharan. Suppression is Vegadharan, which is the number one cause for all vyadhis in Ayurveda.
Yes.
But when you can transform it, then it becomes ojas.
A blessing.
And okay, we will continue our discussion next week. Pranam, Guruji. Thank you so much. This was just brilliant. Thank you, Guruji.
Pranam to all.
Pranam.